Hello, Env430! Welcome to week 4! Yay, week 4! Alright, you have survived all the other weeks coming up to this one. So, this week, lab is a lot of fun. As before, you've got your discussions, you've got your technical text quiz, so make sure that you get those along with the self-assessment. That's really easy, 4 points, try to get that done. Try to read that, before the start of the week or like right at the beginning of the week, because that basically gives you a lowdown of what you're preparing to do for that week, or for this week in this case. And then you can say, well, I've got this week coming up and my week is kind of looking funny. So that's when you can give a better self-assessment. All right, so try to get those done earlier. Of course, they're due on Monday, but the earlier the better for your own mental sake, okay? So this week's lab, it's actually taking a little bit of a fun twist on things. I mean, as you know, the Labster is sort of a lab set designed in the future. Well, in this case, we're going to be exploring biodiversity and species identification, all right, and sample collection. So these are all really important facets of environmental science. Regardless of whether you're going to be working for government or private industry, as an environmental scientist, there's a good chance that you're going to either stumble upon a sample or you're going to actually be asked to collect samples, living and or dead, okay? Now, one of the cool things that you're going to learn this week is the use of a dichotomous key. Now, what's that? Okay, remember that means two. So a dichotomous key is basically when you have a species and you're like, I have no idea what species this is. There's something I've stumbled upon. I don't know what it is. So you can use a dichotomous key to help you identify what species your sample actually is. And it's a series of sort of yes or no questions. It's essentially a series of questions. And as you answer them, it'll say, okay, go to this part. And then you answer another question, and another question, and another question, and it will lead you all the way through to narrowing down and identifying what species you're dealing with. Now, for example, around here, we could say, well, what species is that? Or rather that, or one of those guys back there. Easily can say duck for the guys in the back, but what kind of duck? Because there's hundreds of kinds of duck, hundreds of species of ducks out there. So what kind of duck are we dealing with here? That's a very good question. Until we follow the dichotomous key, we actually don't know what species those guys are. More than likely there are some form of either pure Hawaiian duck or some hybrid of a mainland invasive and a Hawaiian duck. That's usually what happens around here, but we occasionally get other duck species in here as well, so it's really cool. So that's that's the important part that you're going to be learning this week. And trust me, I have had students come back in the past and ask me specifically, before we implemented this, have I learned dichotomous key? I don't remember it. And I would unfortunately have to say to them, no, you didn't, but because their job was actually asking them for that. Well, congratulations, now we've finally rectified that and you are going to learn how to use a dichotomous key. Alright, so have fun with this week's lab. It is really cool, it's a lot of fun. Sample ID is, you can use it for animals, you can use it for plants, it's just cool. So enjoy the lab. Again, your discussions, primary response due on Thursday, and your replies due by Monday. Don't forget your quiz. On your lab reports, remember, okay, we're looking at about 600 words here. 700, yeah, you can probably get away with 600. Your bulk is, you've got to do your background, okay? Your background's important. Tell me, not just the names of what you're learning, like this week we're learning dichotomous key. That's not telling me anything, okay? You've got to tell me more about the dichotomous key. For example, more about the various aspects of what you're learning this week, okay? Give me some details, all right? Next, your methodology. Remember, this is the cookbook. I've got to follow this step by step by step to get the same results without blowing myself up in your lab, all right? That would be bad if I follow wrong directions or incomplete directions. there's dangers. So this is your chance to learn how to write step-by-step directions, okay? Observations, give me details, be specific, okay? Colors, quantities, things like that, okay, for what you're seeing. All right, time. And also, finally, your discussion, that explains your observations based on that background that you did. All right? So let me know if you have any questions. Have fun with this, and thanks again for being here. Cheers.